It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. Recently in Orchard Lake, a celebration that took over a century in the making actually took place, and Civic Center TV's Tyler Keefe has a story.
In Orchard Lake, a bell tolled 150 times, celebrating 150 years of worship and one of our longest standing communities in greater West Bloomfield. This is Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian, a church with deep ties for many families in greater West Bloomfield. Dr. Catherine Kanganey's great-great-great-grandparents, Caroline and Colin Campbell, founded the church in 1874. 150 years later, she says her ancestors would be overjoyed at what this community has become.
Well, although it was the Campbells' idea to found the church, it was a community project from the very beginning. And when the church was founded in 1874, it was a seasonal church. So I think they would be floored to see not only the community having grown and having sustained the church for the summers, but now that it's a year-round, very active congregation, I think they would be floored.
For Patty Rothley and Becky Sasick, their connections to the church span 4 generations and play a special role in their family.
Very special and unusual, I think, to have that many generations worship here.
And now her children are all coming here, and it's just been a wonderful experience.
The church, like any community, is about connection, providing a place to be together and build bonds that strengthen our community during the challenges of life.
I think this church came to be because the community pulled together, and there have been times of challenge for this congregation, and it has pulled together to meet and solve those challenges. And so I think that's the legacy from 1874 to now.
I truly believe that what we've founded for 150 years would be the best legacy possible, that we are serving our neighbors, our friends, loved ones, and strangers in love, sharing with them as we are able the good news of Jesus Christ that we believe here at the Orchard Lake Church, and supporting them through tough times.
Ultimately, it's joy that brings the people of Orchard Lake Community Church together, a friendly family of folks from across greater West Bloomfield and beyond.
You make friends when you come here because everyone is so wonderful, and you serve on committees together, and you do things together, and then you just feel like this is your home.
Everybody in the church always works together as a team. We support so many different charities and anything you might want to be involved in.
I think the lessons of the church are that we want to love each other and support each other through the tough times and the good times.
It was a labor of love for an awful lot of people, and this congregation and this community ought to feel really proud of that legacy.
It's a legacy that was no accident, sown through generations of an emphasis on helping each other and helping other people.
Many communities of faith do as we do, but I wanted to emphasize today all that we have accomplished together and the previous generations have accomplished and bequeathed to us. What a beautiful heritage we have here of people who have served locally and then have gone nationally to serve in many different ways through the Presbyterian Church, but not only through our denomination, but other charitable groups, and internationally.
The friendliness and the feeling of community and the service in this church is amazing.
I think there's a lot of people that belong to this church that are very committed to keeping things going. And it's a very welcoming community, so it's not like we're, isolated. We love when new people come to the church, and there's always some way to get involved.
If you believe in something that much, you can will it to happen. And this group of people from 1874 to the present that have put their pennies together and put their talents together, that you can achieve what you set out to do if you've got a group of people who believes in it and works together to get it done. I hope my great-great-great-grandchildren will be here in 150 years to keep celebrating.
This church community has seen greater West Bloomfield through its early development, through Christ's legacies through decades upon decades of our local history and the history of the world, continuing to be one of our longest standing communities and a group that has great influence across Greater West Bloomfield. At Orchard Lake Community Church Presbyterian, Tyler Kieft for Civic Center TV.
Great story, by the way, Tyler, talking about a local church celebrating 150 years of community service right here in Orchard Lake. Great thing. You can learn more about Orchard Lake Community Church's 150th anniversary celebration, including more events coming up in September, going to their website, olccp.com. And of course, you can visit them on their Facebook, I should say, on social media, olccp on Facebook as well. Going from a local church to a local resident celebrating a milestone, we get some pearls of wisdom from one of West Bloomfield's eldest residents. And joining me right here on The Splash is our very own Thais Leverett with more information. How you doing, Thais?
Hey, good morning, Kevin. Always great to see you.
Yes. So now we're talking about West Bloomfield's eldest residents. What information do you have for us today?
Yes, Kevin, absolutely. I thought I had something special because my grandmother is 100 years old, but I had the opportunity to meet a woman in West Bloomfield who had an amazing birthday party for her 109th birthday.
This one was pretty large. They brought in, she had cakes, they had singers here. The amount of people was just unbelievable that came in. Besides the news people and the radio people, it was just an unbelievable affair. Normally in the years past, she had here the West Bloomfield Fire Department, and she used to have in here the police department. But supposedly Rachel, my mother, is about the second oldest person in Michigan, second oldest woman. I hope that's a truism, and she keeps on going even to be the oldest woman in Michigan in the years to come.
It was really a nice party, and our friends were there, and our kids and my grandchildren were there. I have 4 great-grandchildren, and I love them all. They're so nice to me. Grandma couldn't have it better family. They're always buying stuff. I tell them to stop buying stuff already. My closet can't take it.
I think we all want to know, and you've probably been asked this before, but what would be your one piece of wisdom for living a long life?
Not to be afraid of life, because there are bad things and good things. I saw 2 wars. I saw depression. I saw what the children had to go through then. I was raised amongst Gentile people, not Jewish people.
Okay.
So we didn't know any different. To be different, we're all the same. And that's the way my life was. It was a poor life, but it was a happy life.
Right.
So that didn't make any difference.
What would she like to see, or maybe even do, at her 110th birthday?
Okay. My son to live a long life, that's all I want to see. I want to live up over me.
Okay. Okay.
Again, it was just incredible to be able to spend time with Rachel, just to hear what she has to say. After a life of 109 years, I was amazed by how spry and how much energy she had. And I hope to have a fraction of that, to be that type of person, should I be fortunate enough to live that long. So definitely back to you, Kevin.
No, I completely get it. I'm sitting there watching the story, and I'm just seeing the joy in her face, and I'm seeing her still have a sense of humor also, and how supportive her son is. It's a lot that we can take and learn from Rachel also. So great story. Thank you again for your time, Thais. We appreciate you for that interview and that story.
Thank you, Kevin. Take care.
Absolutely. Second oldest woman in the state of Michigan right now. Wishing her many, many more years as well. Now, just to keep you updated, last week, Wednesday, the music got the people moving at Marsh Bank Park, keeping a nice, great tune during the Marsh Bank Music Series, which officially kicked off its summer 2024 run with Thunderbeard. It's a band that's a tribute to ZZ Top on Concert Hill. And if you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, you can see some of these pictures, the smiles, the great energy, the residents, the beards from the band also. You can see Thunderbeard right there if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Just looked like a really good time. And the fun does continue this weekend right back on Concert Hill. And it'll be featured Detroit Retro Society. And they call their music high energy live music entertainment. That sounds very, very fun and exciting. So make sure you bring your family out there, come out there, weather permitting, of course, also. There will be food. The food service starts at 5:30 and the live music and entertainment starts at 6 o'clock. And of course, it is 100% free also. So there's no excuse. Just make sure you come out there. You can learn more about local parks, programs, and everything that they have going on, community organizations, on WB Parks website, wbparks.org, or of course you can go directly to them on Facebook at WB Parks as well. Since we like to stay active and we're keeping things in physical activity, on Monday we gave you a look into the Michigan Bocce tournament that happened right here in Greater West Bloomfield. And it's still buzzing all over Oakland County, as a matter of fact. A restaurant in Lake Orion, Palazzo de Bocce posted this picture, if you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, pictures of the winners of the tournament. Team Winson, lo and behold, they are from right here. Greater West Bloomfield walked away with the championship trophy. As a matter of fact, it was a family team. If you're looking on CivicCenterTV.com, mother, father, and son walking away with that hardware. So that's great. Congratulations to them. They're seen right there in the purple right there holding the hardware, by the way, if you are watching. So congratulations to them again. We want to thank them for all their hard work and bringing a lot of attention to the Greater West Bloomfield area. You can see the full story on the tournament on our website on demand, CivicCenterTV.com, by the way. And you can, if you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, take your smartphone, open up your camera app, and scan that QR code. It'll send you a link that'll take you directly to our social media platforms and our website to make it a lot easier for you. Since we like to talk about sports and things that are affecting our local economy and local community, let's talk about the NFL draft and its impact on our local community right here. So with me on the Splash Live, we have Area Director of Sales and Event Management for our local West Bloomfield Hilton Hotels, Amber Barnett, joining us live on the Splash to talk a little bit about the NFL draft's impact on our local community. Now, Amber, thank you for being here. And can you just describe how the excitement around the NFL draft across Metro Detroit affected your hotels right here in Greater West Bloomfield?
The experience from the draft helped us tremendously. We were sold out that entire weekend. On the weekends, we are pretty much sold out, but that experience definitely helped our hotels. Both of them here in West Bloomfield, folks had an amazing experience, and it was something different. The NFL draft was something different experience for the guests.
Wait a minute, did you say sold out? 100% occupancy?
100%. That is correct.
Whoa. Okay. And just for clarification, you actually are Area Director of Sales and Event Management for the Hampton Inn, Southfield, West Bloomfield, and Hilton Home 2 Suites, West Bloomfield also. So both of them right there on Northwestern Highway also, just so we can give a little bit more context. Now, with 100% occupancy, Amber, I know it wasn't the easiest task. Can you describe some of the unique challenges and opportunities that arose from hosting that large influx of people?
Well, there really wasn't any challenge. We always are ready and always stay prepared. Yes, we, not to say that the whole entire hotels were sold out due to the NFL draft.
Right.
We did have a lot of groups, but I do feel that a lot of the overflow of the hotels from downtown impacted us and folks willing to do a longer distance. I think a lot of folks did last minute traveling, so that weekend picked up a lot of last minute rooms that caused us to be sold out. Looking and changing rates, to help accommodate guests, comparing rates. A lot of folks were sold out. We were the only folks that had rooms.
Yeah.
Come on, and everyone had a good experience.
Yeah, put your head on my pillow. We got a
Yeah.
room for you. I get it.
We have
That's
a room
nice.
for you. Everyone's sold out.
Right here. Okay, so I want to talk about you said your team prepared for it. Wasn't too many challenges. So that means that you all prepared well in advance. Can you talk about your team's preparation for such a huge event? Was there any special training or anything?
No, not necessarily, because we're used to big events. We're used to big groups, small groups. We're a small hotel. The Hampton's 89 rooms, the Home 2's 91. So we're always properly staffed. So at any time, at any moment, if there's a big event, a small event, we're going to be ready.
Love that. Right here on the Splash Live with me, Area Director of Sales and Event Management for Hilton Hotels, Amber Barnett, talking about how the NFL draft in Detroit impacted the local community and businesses. With it saying hotel occupancy rates peaked at 92% during the draft, with significant increases on the surrounding days. Now, kind of getting back to that also, have you received any feedback from the guests? Now, with people traveling, like we said, over 100 miles, some of them, over 30% of them traveling over 100 miles. Any feedback from people maybe out of town, out of state, about some of the services that you provided?
Oh, they loved it. The general managers of both hotels let me know. The guests loved the experience. They said they will come back to Detroit more often. We really set a tone for a lot of states, countries. The guests had a good experience. Guests always have a good experience when they come to our hotels, but to be able to go to Detroit to experience the NFL draft, it made a super positive experience for them.
I love that. I love that. But what are your thoughts in regards to, since I would think we all here in the Metro Detroit area would say it was a very successful event, right? With that being said, how do you feel like the success of that NFL draft can potentially affect or have the potential for other large events in Detroit or the Metro Detroit area, which could also affect local businesses? How do you feel like that draft is going to continue with that?
I feel what everyone coming down to the city, they seen what we were able to do. They seen how the city was able to come together. Businesses downtown bloomed. There were so many businesses that were ready. Everyone was prepared. Folks were excited just to see just our state and how we have changed so much. So I think the NFL has definitely opened up eyes for a lot of folks, for them to say, hey, I definitely want to come back. We're going to spend time here. I'm going to do business in Detroit or in Michigan, West Bloomfield. I'll be out here more often. I think it just opened eyes for more people to say, like, wow, they're really doing some things there.
Nice. And that's what I think we all appreciate. People seeing Detroit in the Metro Detroit area in a new light, just showing it what we had to offer and how great it was. And continuously, like we said, encourage other people to bring new things here and help us grow. Lastly, before we get out of here, other local events, not just Detroit, but right here in West Bloomfield, Oakland County, things of that nature. We even have the Orchard Lake Fine Arts Show coming up real soon. How do you all prepare for other local events, or are there any other local events that happens annually that you all try to anticipate, I should say?
Oh, yes. I, as an area director of sales for both of the West Bloomfield properties, I am all over events. So just making sure that we continue to stay properly staffed. Everyone's always on training, coaching, learning from previous experience, anything that we can do better from the last person experience. If we were great, let's try to be better and greater, because this is folks home away from home. So we just try to just make sure we're just staying on our game and never getting too comfortable.
Good point, good point. All right, so I want to give you this opportunity right now, Area Director of Sales and Event Management for Hilton Hotels in West Bloomfield, Amber Barnett. When there is something happening in the Metro Detroit area, why should they stay at Home 2 Suites by Hilton or Hampton Inn right here in the West Bloomfield area? Why?
We're in the prime area. There's plenty to do. Home 2 Suites, it's wonderful. Wonderful breakfast. Both hotels has wonderful pools. Both hotel has pools, breakfast, meeting room. It'll be your home away from home. The Hampton Inn has kings and two queens. So the difference between the two, kings and two queens. Home 2 has kings. Yes, that is the difference. We're in a prime area. Both hotels will treat you like family, and it'll be a great stay experience.
I love that. I
They have
love
great
that.
standards.
And you sold me already, and we appreciate it. Thank you for the work that you've done and the work that you are continuously doing to provide great, great hospitality for people who are coming to the Metro Detroit area for the first time. Thank you again to Amber Barnett. Great information and great details talking about how the NFL draft, right in the heart of the city, impacted us right here in West Bloomfield. 100% occupancy rate at our local hotels. That seems very, very crazy. But you can find out more or just go ahead and watch that interview again, I should say, and catch up with all the details that Amber explained on our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On Demand tab for everything that you need right there. Now, going from a woman managing hotels locally to 100% occupancy, to talking about other women-owned businesses locally, we have an inaugural women's pop-up shop that will be held at Orchard Mall very, very soon, featuring vendors that are 51% or more women-owned. What's the who, what, where, when, and why details of that event? That's why with me right now on the Splash Live, we have Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I love having this opportunity to promote our great events in our great city.
So we are talking about the inaugural women's pop-up shop event. Can you tell us first and foremost, what's the inspiration behind it? How did this come about?
Well, we get a lot of inquiries from our local businesses how to promote them. And we have a lot of women-owned businesses in our area, not just in West Bloomfield, but the surrounding cities and townships. And so I was collaborating with the Great Lakes Women's Business Council and trying to figure out how we can promote and showcase some of these fabulous women-owned businesses. A lot of them are, based in their home. And so I with this idea, and thanks to our great partner, Orchard Lake Mall, Kelly Woodley over at Orchard Lake Mall, we decided that would be the perfect venue to showcase some of these fabulous independent women-owned businesses that people have no idea exist.
Yes, and I'm glad that you all are doing that, and you're partnering with different local organizations, the Orchard Mall, to make this type of thing happen. And so I want to get that, since we are focusing on women and women-owned businesses, what has the response been from some of the vendors or people who know about the event so far?
The response has been overwhelming. We had to sort of shut off the amount of people that can attend. We'll have to see the success of this.
Wow.
Depending on the community to show up. It's free. It's from 12 to 4, August 3rd on a Saturday. And I think it should be an amazing event because we have such a diverse group of women, not just from our area, but from the surrounding area, like I say, even Detroit, which is interesting that they want to come here to do business. So I'm really excited about it. I expect a great turnout, and I really am hoping that these women find an opportunity not only to network with one another, to help promote their business, but the community gets to know about all these really great independent boutique kind of businesses that these women have.
Yeah, and it builds that sense of community too. Lets each other know that we are here. It can build some type of barter system with each other in businesses and things of that nature. Trust me, I'm all for that. Right here, joining me on the Splash Live, we have Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Now, what are we talking about in regards to type of products that we're expecting? Do you know what type of products that we're expecting from this event, or what's going to be sold?
We have so many, like such a diverse group. We have someone who makes candles, someone who makes soap. We have makeup. We have our own Lisa Berkey, who has Goldie's mandel bread. I'm looking forward to those samples. We have a glass making company. We have someone who makes her own, gift cards. We have gift baskets. We have someone, a Mary Kay. We also have like home care person. We have other home care people, Karen Gordon, who's senior services. So we have such a great array from health to beauty to just, things for the home, healthy products from our Melaleuca representative, and a great people that help me all the time on these events. Kim Odekirk is a travel agent, and she also makes these really cool diamond painting
Okay.
things. We have such a great array of different women-owned businesses, women that I had no idea existed. So I'm really excited just from that point, trying to learn about how to help other people in our community that don't have a brick and mortar shop.
Correct.
So it's been really great.
No, and I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because the key thing about this is, like you said, there's businesses out there that we don't even know about. They're operating in people's homes, basements, and rooms, whatever the case may be, and they more than likely offer a lot of great things, and it's right here locally. And I'm glad you also mentioned that there'll be a travel agent, so there's not just goods, there's also services that you'll be offering. So I love that. Now, beyond just this event, how does the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce support women entrepreneurs in the community?
Well, years ago, I was contacted from women who wanted sort of a specialty group, so I created our WIN, our Women's Inspiration Network. At the time, we had great speakers at the West Bloomfield Public Library. And then, of course, COVID hit, so we sort of obviously pivoted like everyone else. And we do them on Zoom, where every month we feature a different great woman speaker to offer advice, whether it's marketing, accounting, maybe it's just networking information, maybe it's just a way for them to highlight their businesses. We are going to go back to in-person next year at the library, so that should be great. But the WIM has been really successful because we've had some very dynamic speakers. The great thing about Zoom is that we've been able to feature women out of our area. We've even had some women from England talk about how how they want to impact the American market. So it's really great. It's a really great way. I've partnered with Oakland Thrive to help some of our women. I think, we partnered with Destiny Williams over at 10,000 small, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 small businesses. I've tried women businesses. I'm here to serve the community, every aspect of the community. Obviously I want to help women as well. And they have a different set of, I say, obstacles that they have to overcome. So I really am so excited when I have an opportunity to help direct them and perhaps connect them to ways to keep their business thriving.
I love to hear that. With me right now on the Splash Live, Executive Director for the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Suzanne Levine. Now, can we talk about the success? How are you measuring the success? I would imagine, since this is the inaugural event, we want more. How are you measuring success from this first one?
Well, I guess we'll have to see how many people attend, and we'll talk to all the vendors, and we'll send out a survey and see, what they think we can improve. Would they do it again? And we'll have to consider, if it's really that successful, perhaps finding a larger venue for them to showcase all of their, individual businesses. So we won't really know the success until afterwards. I can just tell you from the interesting amount of people that we've been able to contact through Great Lakes Women's Business Council and our own Facebook page and website. It's really been astounding to me, the outreach. And of course, thank you so much to Civic Center TV for helping promote this event, because we know that no event is successful unless we get the audience and people to come and just even learn about these businesses, even if they don't necessarily need their services. Hopefully they'll get a business card, and at some point they may. We even have Town and Country Doors. They sell garage doors and epoxy floors, and that's a woman-owned business. So we're so happy to showcase them. They're a chamber member. And you don't have to be a chamber member to be a vendor at this particular venue. I'm trying to do a lot more outreach in the community. That's sort of my goal. I mean, yes, of course, I'm here to serve our chamber members first and foremost, but I consider myself an ambassador for Michigan. And, anything I can do to bring business into our community, I've done a great job.
And we appreciate that too. And this shows right here with your effort. Suzanne, before we let you go, any additional information that you want to give out to people looking to attend, looking to be a vendor, or even support women-owned businesses locally?
Well, we're going to be sending out a new flyer, inviting the public so they know about all the different vendors that are going to be there. That should be going out today. It's free. It's 12 to 4. We even have a food truck that's going to be outside, and we have a couple restaurants, Shangri-La and Jagged Fork within, and plus we'll be selling, not selling, we'll probably be giving away, obviously, some samples of mandel bread and some other things. Just, come, have a good time, bring the family. It's free. Learn about these women-owned businesses. Perhaps your woman-owned business and you never thought about how you can promote it. So that's what we're here to do, is really to support our communities, support women, and hopefully have a great time doing it.
Right, and we are here to do the job, to advocate and continuously support and put the word out again. Thank you so much again, talking about the Women Pop-Up Shop event happening at Orchard Mall, August 3rd, 12 to 4 p.m. in West Bloomfield. From the Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce, Executive Director Suzanne Levine, thank you so much for being here.
And thank you again for always having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, no, thank you. Thank you. We know time is valuable, so we always appreciate people in our community coming to take time and speak with us right here on The Splash. To get out great information, find out more, you can email them, wbloomfieldchamber@gmail.com, or call 248-626-3636 for more information regarding that. There was a big thing that happened over the weekend in regards to a few things that might affect our local community, but we will get to all that and how it affected us very, very soon. We are live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Gina Gregory, President of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, and social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I appreciate you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. In case you haven't heard, there was hundreds of U.S. flights that were canceled, delayed, primarily impacting Delta Airlines following a global tech outage, and it even affected some local Greater West Bloomfield residents. And actually, we had one of them that documented the entire journey, and that's why they're going to be right here on The Splash. Joining me to talk about that entire journey, we have Mike McKinstry, children's book author and host producer of The Basquatch Hunter. Thank you for joining us, Mike.
Yeah, of course. Happy to be here always.
Hey, man, so I want to just apologize. I know you went through it over the weekend, getting here. This tech outage, the flights. Can you just first and foremost, how did this recent tech outage and flight cancellations ultimately affect your travel plans coming back home to West Bloomfield?
Oh man, so I had a 3-day trip in Florida, and I ended up spending 4 extra days there, including a full night at the airport on the floor. 5 flights canceled. I had 11 delays total, and I tried like 16 different flight options in that time. It was a crazy 4 days, but the bonus is I met some really cool people. I got to make a positive impact on a lot of people I met, and I met about 30 different employees. So I got to hear a lot of the stories about what was actually happening, like the real story behind the scenes, what the crew was going through.
Right.
And it kind of took away some of the sting, you know what I mean? But I met some great, I call them single serving friends that I meet on airplanes all the time. And I got to meet some friends that I spent a few days with actually. So it was a lot of fun.
Single serving friends is kind of, I might have to take that. I like that. Yeah, hey, for the moment, we're here, let's be friends. But okay, so you were in the atmosphere of a lot of crazy things going on. Now, it seemed like from the photos, you had a very positive attitude, Mike, but can you describe just the scene overall with other people and their reactions to the flight cancellations?
Oh yeah, it was like an apocalypse movie. It was seriously crazy. There was people sleeping on top of benches and then underneath the benches, and then people sleeping on top of like big potted planters and stuff. Like there was people everywhere, just scattered. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people were displaced every hour. So it was like walking into the airport, and Orlando is a pretty big airport. Walking in, there's like barricades of luggage with people sleeping in the middle of them, like at the entrance, like all the way. So it's like I walked into that in the very first place for my first flight. And I kind of see why. Every day I had a flight canceled, and unfortunately you got to stay there and see if your flight makes it or not, because it'll be delayed, 15 times before they call it cancel. So every day was pretty crazy. A lot of people were angry. I saw there was a few arrests that happened. A few people got a little bit violent and angry with the staff, which is, I took a little control of that situation a few times because I felt like the staff was going through it with us. They didn't go to work that day to plan on being there for 14-hour shifts and dealing with hundreds of people screaming at them either. So. There was some things that a lot of people were doing to take care of some of the attendants and the staff, and it's unfortunate the way it works. It's unfortunate the way things happen.
It's all about perspective, man. And Mike, let me tell you, we need more people with that perspective right there, because you will go into it literally just thinking about yourself, upset at the people that work there. They just clocked in. They just want to go do their job and go home. So you can't get frustrated with them. They don't invent the computers and things of that nature. So right here with us on the Splash Live, Mike McKinstry, children's book author and host producer of the Basquatch Hunter, talking about his journey documented through the airport at Orlando, coming back home to West Bloomfield. Very unfortunate. How do you feel like this type of event happening will affect other people as well as your future travel plans?
So they did say that they'll probably have this cleared up within a week or so. But I think the lesson that I hope the airlines have learned from this is they need to have a backup redundancy plan. And, the crew is just as frustrated, if not more frustrated than the passengers, because we might have missed one destination, but some of these crew members were missing. One of our attendants missed her birthday that she's supposed to be home because she was displaced in Minneapolis and then had to go to Houston. And what happened is their software went down, meaning their employee registration software went down. So there wasn't a shortage of planes. The planes were there for every flight that I missed, even actually. There was no crew, because the crews are allowed to work 14-hour shifts, I think I was told, whether they're working or not, clock in for 14 hours. So if they're waiting for 5 hours to have to manually try to register for a flight because they have to wait on hold for 5 hours, just like we do, if they have to try to check in for 5 hours and they've already been working for 9 hours, that 5th hour, we lose them. They're clocked out. So we had a few planes that had 2 pilots, 3 flight attendants, and we need 4 flight attendants for a 200-seat plane in order to evacuate, in a timely manner and take care of the plane correctly. We were waiting for 1 flight attendant for 8 hours, and we had a flight attendant show up, but by the time she was allowed to register, she clocked out. Then one of the pilots lost their time too, and that happened multiple times over the last 4 days. And I started learning about how the process worked and talked to some amazing people, some pilots and flight attendants who were just like, we're exhausted. Like, we're not supposed to be here. We're in Florida and we're supposed to be in California, or we're supposed to be, but no one knows where we are. Like, the whole tracking system was down. So it was extremely unfortunate. I mean, I had to get I only got hotels one night. I had to sleep on the floor of the airport every night. Every hotel was booked for within an hour of the airport. There was no rental cars. Those were all gone. People were renting U-Hauls to drive home. There was no option to leave. Even the restaurants were running out of supplies because they were overwhelmed. And it was a pretty extreme situation. And there was even nowhere to even sit. That was the craziest part for me, is like I was looking around and I ended up sleeping in front of an Outback Steakhouse on the floor at the airport because there was nowhere to go. You know, so it was really unfortunate. But like I said, at the same time, like, you know, there's always that saying where you can make lemonade, but I look at it differently. Where instead of making lemonade, make friends, because you know, going through stuff alone is terrible. Going through stuff, meeting new people. There's a reason why we're on a journey.
That's a good point.
And eventually we'll figure it out. There was some reason why I was stranded. I met some new friends, and I still stay in touch with about 4 or 5 people that I met. And we're actually planning on doing lunch and dinner soon and everything. Now that we all made it home in the last 24 hours finally. So, you know, it's a cool experience. I mean, just to get to, I learned a lot. I learned a whole lot, and I hope that the airlines also learned a lot and they have a redundancy plan for when next time this happens.
Yes, please. Now we're used to technology making things more convenient. But in this case, we need a backup just in case technology is not convenient. Hey, Mike, I want to thank you again for your time. Children's book author for the Adventures of Sasquatch series, as well as host and producer for the Basquatch Hunter on the Pursuit Channel, YouTube, and Discovery Channel, as well as West Bloomfield resident. We want to appreciate you for your time and thank you for getting home safely, sir.
Awesome. Thank you.
Oh, my goodness, man. I couldn't imagine the scene that it was at those airports and every other place. But we are once again thankful that Mike did make it home safely through everything that he did go through and essentially sharing his story and documenting the entire thing. So we appreciate you again, Mike, for sharing that. So there's other things that are affecting our local community that we want to get a different perspective on also, and that goes into the election and how our West Bloomfield workers will prepare for voting day locally, as a matter of fact. So with us right here on the Splash Live, we have Lindsay Goralczyk, to talk a little bit more about preparing for voting day locally in West Bloomfield. And thank you so much for your time, Lindsay, first and foremost.
Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing just great. So it's very unique that we get the perspective of an election worker during this time. So first and foremost, can you describe what your training process is like leading up to the event, the day?
Yes. So most election workers come in 2 times to do 2-hour sessions of training. We review the process like rights, and then we also talk about like scenarios to look out for. Me, I am a chairperson, so I have a much longer training session where we get more in depth in these topics. But we are very frequently training and asking questions and researching and getting in touch with this information.
Gotcha. So. Okay, so there's a lot of different things going on, right? We just had a presidential candidate drop out from the race. We're getting a lot of emotions get flared up with what's going on in the elections and how the candidates are, being looked at and perceived. So in that case, there's a lot of things even happening at the polls when people are going to make their vote. So are there any certain security measures being put in place to ensure the integrity of the voting process?
Yes. So first of all, anyone campaigning or trying to give campaign information cannot be within 100 feet of the precinct. They can't be inside, they can't be outside within 100 feet. So we have those barriers up. We're constantly surveilling, removing that information so people feel incredibly comfortable with, voting their own way. And don't feel any sort of pressure. That being said, you also can't wear any election memorabilia. So we'll have you either switch your shirt inside out or put a jacket over it. But we're really trained to de-escalate situations. We don't have security on premises because some people feel uncomfortable around security. So it's a very calm environment, a very relaxing environment. So
I had no idea about that. I guess I didn't necessarily think about that. You would think having security there would make people feel safe, but not thinking that some people could feel unsafe or, just maybe anxious or whatever the case may be, just being around security. So I can see both sides of it. But join us right here, election worker Lindsay Goralczyk. Excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong, if I butchered your name. But join us just talking about the perspective of an election worker as she prepares for our upcoming election day. Now, let's just say we're expecting a huge turnout, more than usual. How is that going to be handled as opposed to, a slower voter turnout?
So we had a situation like this many years ago where we ran out of ballots. And what we ended up having to do is print ballots from the e-reader printer. That was a really long and tedious process. So a lot of people still had the chance to vote, but it did keep us there a lot later and those voters a lot later. Now we've learned from our mistakes and we already pre-printed a ton of ballots. So you'll see there'll be plenty of ballots. So that won't happen again. But we still have that option, and we even got more of those also, so that if anything does happen, we'll be completely taken care of.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, cause I can imagine going to vote and then they say they ran out of ballots. But like you say, since you experienced that, you learn how to kind of deal with that going forward from there. I want to kind of go back. Let's focus on you and your story. What ultimately made you want to even be involved in the election?
My father got me involved like right out of high school. He has been a teacher his entire life. So and also a social studies teacher. So he is very educated on the importance of like government and elections. So he implored that on me, made me start doing it with him. He even is in my precinct this year. So I'll be his boss, which is really sweet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we work together and it is a fun little day. And he is incredibly supportive of like me and my growth too. So that's really wonderful. And it's just also a bonding experience for us. My brother has done it with us. My mom has done it with us. So sometimes we'll come to an election, it's all the girl checks.
Nice. I love to see that was taught at an early age for you from your own parents to kind of get involved. Learn the election process also. Learn about voting and our system and our things of that nature. That's a great perspective and a great way to kind of get involved with that also. What role do you see community organizations playing in our local election process?
They are, first of all, we can't even have elections without community involvement. All of the buildings we use are either government buildings or community buildings for different religions or different like social clubs. So any big buildings we use, they have to be big enough to hold an election at. So that would only be the people who could help us. Like we don't do any small businesses or anything, but and we don't pay them. They are volunteers, so that's beautiful. And they also do spread the word of elections as well too, and get people out there and voting, which I think is incredibly beautiful.
That's good. So from your perspective, how would you say voter education, or how would you say being an election worker helps with voter education? Let's go from there.
So it changes constantly what you can and cannot do in elections. So being from this community and having friends and being also connected within my community, I am able to tell people what they can and cannot do. So I even told someone that you can vote absentee ballots at the precinct now. So you can get it in the mail, fill it in at home, and then come in. When that's something you would never be able to do before. And that just wasn't told to enough people. So it's really powerful that, being in connection with the community and word of mouth can be so educational.
Yes, and absolutely. And then as an election worker, you could spread that information to your relatives, your friends, and things of that nature who may not know too much about it and may have certain questions too. You're also a resource for your family and friends. So I completely understand that. Don't want to hold you up too much more, Lindsay. Last question though, what are your expectations for Election Day? How do you plan to handle everything that's expected?
It is going to be a lot of people. We're expecting a huge turnout. So don't be afraid to take advantage of early voting for the August 6th election, which won't be as big as the general election. It's going to be early voting starts July 27th. All this information is online. And then for the big election on November 5th, early voting starts on October 26th. So please take advantage of that. It's at the main library, West Bloomfield Public Library. You can come in vote at your own leisure, and doesn't matter what precinct you're at, and just get ahead of the game and not have to worry about that. So I implore everyone to take advantage of that. It's a wonderful opportunity.
There you go. Perfect place to land a plane. We appreciate. Thanks for all that information, and more importantly, the perspective of voting on election day from an election worker. We appreciate you. Once again, Lindsay Goralczyk joining us on the Splash Live to talk about election day and the perspective from an election worker. Thank you again.
Bye. Have a great day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the type of information that we value here at the Splash Live and Civic Center TV, because it's going to be important when it comes time for us to get to the booth. If you want to find out more information about voting, go to wbtownship.org for everything that you need and all of your resources. We got a lot more resources for you also right here on the Splash Live. We are live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Missed one of our live broadcasts or one of your local municipal meetings? Check it out online at civiccentertv.com. Every meeting, show, and interview on demand. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Greg Flynn, the fire chief here in West Bloomfield. Congratulations, Civic Center TV, on your 1 million views on YouTube. Together we share the message of community safety and preparedness, making West Bloomfield a safe and wonderful place to live. My name's Greg Flynn, and I'm proud to be 1 in a million.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you so much for joining us. And we actually had a chance to check out one of the new local businesses opening up right here in the greater West Bloomfield area. And Civic Center TV's very own Jake Shaft has a story.
Keego Harbor just got a little bit sweeter as Matt Neo, owner of Canal Bakery, just opened up his 5th location right here in the city. A beautiful little bakery right off the side of Orchard Lake Road, inviting customers in with their amazing decor and delicious baked goods, sure to make everybody with a sweet tooth very, very happy.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the opening, and we love to see people enjoying and having fun, and being at the first opening day at Canal. It's beautiful. This is my first location near where I live, and I was so excited, and I was at the same time afraid a little bit, because how it's gonna turn. But the moment I start seeing people coming before opening time, I start having those goosebumps, and super excited.
I tried one of your raspberry chocolate croissants earlier today. It was delicious. It was flaky. It was chocolatey. It was everything you'd want it to be. And a lot of the baking here, it's French inspired. Is that correct?
Absolutely, 100% French. Everything we do, it's French. I have a master degree in pastries from France, so all what I do is pastry, French pastries. The chocolate croissant is my favorite, and the pain au chocolat, the crunchy from the dessert part. Yeah.
Well, we knew this area has a lot of people and a lot of demand, and there is no bakery like this. This is an authentic French pastry shop, and there's really none in this area. Canal Bakery is pretty famous. They have been named the Midwest Bakery of the Year the last 2 years for the entire Midwest.
What have you thought of the food so far?
Well, it's so delicious, but it's so pretty. Sometimes I look at it like I'm not good enough to eat this, like artwork. But and he takes so much pride in it. Like when he bakes it, he works all night baking. And the temperature and the humidity is within 1 degree to make sure his product is fresh and perfect.
I think it looks absolutely amazing. I feel like the colors are such a spring, summer, fall vibe. It brings a great ambiance to the community. It's absolutely stunning.
I mean, if you're looking for a vibrant place to hang out after work, or even during work if you work from home, the coffee here is amazing. The croissants, the subs, the different pastries. Yeah, it's a very vibrant place, like she said, very warm, very welcoming. So yeah.
How do you hope to see the business continue to grow and continue to connect with the community in the coming months and years?
So I hope things to be consistent all the time, and we keep growing, and I keep have this place kind of like full and steady all the time, having people having their events in here and coming after dinner to have dessert and coffee, and that's what I look for, and continuing doing business in this rhythm. Yeah.
If today's success is anything to go by, I think things are off to a fantastic start for Canal right here in Kego Harbor. And with its tasty treats and great hospitality, I think the customers will keep coming back for even more. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
For some great French pastries, try out that new restaurant right there in Kego Harbor. Canal Bakery, right in the heart of Kego Harbor in Greater West Bloomfield. Find out more, go directly to their website, canaldetroit.com, for more information. Speaking of great times, right here locally, July is National Parks and Recreation Month, and WB Parks is taking time to recognize everyone who makes the park special. And they say it, we say it, and you know it. That's you, the people that make WB Parks very, very special. And Friday was Parks and Recreation's Professionals Day. So they went out and about. If you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, you can see your park staff in action across the community. You can see them at the Rack. You can see them at Lily Pad Springs right here also. Marsh Bank Park as well. They are everywhere, including even in the trenches, keeping our parks pristine and ready for fun 24/7, 365. So we want to thank them personally here at Civic Center TV, and you can also show them your thanks personally on Facebook at WB Parks as well. And if you saw those photos in real time, a special frame that read hashtag WB Where You Belong. You see that hashtag right there? That's actually part of a month-long campaign where you can share your memories for your chance to win up to 4 free passes to Lily Pad Springs, a picnic cooler, a WB Park sticker pack, and so much more. Time is running out, by the way. The deadline is Wednesday, July 24th, so you want to hurry up and post your favorite memories, photos, videos, and make sure you tag them with WB Parks on Facebook. Also, just to be safe, use the hashtag WB Where You Belong also. You can be featured in their WB Where You Belong campaign promotions, and like we said, be eligible for those giveaways. Find out more about their programs and the WB Where You Belong initiative on their website, wbparks.org, for more. And right next door, the West Bloomfield Library is looking perhaps a little cozier. The library team has spruced up their spaces at the main library branch with some new plants and greenery to kind of freshen up the ambiance, add a little bit more fresh air to already a great, peaceful environment. It's looking fantastic over there. If you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com, another reason to head there and have a great time at our local public library. Resources available to all 4 communities, by the way, and all WB School District students as well. Go to the library, find out more in person, but if you don't want to go, at least go on their website to find out more, WBLIB.org, or of course they are on Facebook, West Bloom LIB on Facebook as well. Since we are talking about supporting the library, if you need another sign to support the library, here it is. CivicCenterTV.com. If you're watching, the West Bloomfield Library launched a new promotion campaign that lets you show your love for the local library and their resources, books, and media. You can get a free lawn sign that says Library Enthusiasts. Says it right there, and it just supports and lets us know that you are actively supporting and advocating for our local West Bloomfield Public Township Library, and we also appreciate that. So grab one of those signs at the main or West Acres branch for to show your support. And you can check out more Facebook at West Bloom LIB Of course. And of course, right here on Civic Center TV, we like to tell you about all the resources available, things that's going on, and we like to keep you educated. And that's our job. But right now, we are live, we are local, we are social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.